Good morning, it's James, and I do hope and pray this message finds you and your loved ones peaceful, thriving, and well. I knew this message was going to be hard. Even when I woke up this morning, it was stirring inside of me. I want to talk about shame today as someone who's dealt deeply with toxic shame over my lifetime. As a child, I dealt with it with a learning disability. I dealt with it with seeing lots of family challenges around alcoholism and rageaholism and just the brokenness of my family in relationship to all of these experiences and how I internalize it as shame, as embarrassment, as ridicule, and really just wouldn't give myself an opportunity to look at it because it was so hard to look at. I think when you're a young person, even just a little person like I was in the beginnings of these experiences of shame, I knew it was really, really bad stuff because I didn't even want to look at it. It was like scary. It was like a horror movie that at night, sometimes when I saw certain things growing up, I'd go to bed and it was like these memories, these visions, these things that I'd seen would come up. And rather than looking at them, I would look away and just pretend they didn't happen or minimize myself to think that if I didn't feel them, or didn't acknowledge myself and what I was feeling, they would somehow go away. Well, I've learned that's not how it works. In fact, scientifically, what we know is when we bury memories of shame, toxicity, brokenness, abuse, whatever the case may be for people here in this community, we never get away from it. And the limbic system is amazing. It's like Velcro. And typically what happens for a lot of us as we grow older and having not dealt with our shame, we turn it into perfectionism because we believe that if we can be perfect at something, or unfortunately with toxic shame, we believe we can be perfect at everything. We can be perfect in how we show up, the perfect in the words that we say, the perfect in the way that our life looks. And oh my goodness, can that be exhausting. I spent so much of my 20s and into my 30s just doing the great cover-up, doing the work, but never really acknowledging the work at hand, right? Doing the surface work. Because the surface work, reading the books, going to the seminars, studying, but never really fully allowing myself to feel. Well, I want to share with you over these last 20, 25 years, I've really done the greatest work of my life. And that's not an ego statement. It's the statement about like, if I didn't do this work, I wouldn't be here. And the work is, how do you actually give yourself permission to do what Buddhists implore and encourage us to do with toxic shame? Or any dark emotion, any dark memory, anything that circles up through your life as a memory or continually to circle up as a trait, as an addiction, as a thing that you carry that you know no longer serves you, but the weight of it just seems so heavy you can't let it go, which almost feels like an oxymoron. So heavy you can't let it go. Well, that's how a lot of shame gets identified. So the Buddhist practice of naming to shame and naming to tame is one of the most powerful practices I know that has worked for me over these years, and I work on it every single day. When something comes up, an old memory, an old movie playing in my mind about something I saw as a younger person, rather than turning away from it and turning towards perfectionism or denial, I name it. This is me being scared. This is me being broken. This is me being profoundly sad. This is me being embarrassed. This is me being ridiculed. Memories. And although it's not easy to do, what becomes grace-filled in doing it is that you bring it out into the light by naming it. And when it comes out into the light, you tame it. And it's only through the naming and taming that we can begin to heal the shame and give ourselves permission to carry only what is necessary. I showed up for my adult life with like 12 suitcases full of junk. Some belonged to me, some didn't. Some was just stuff I kind of accumulated on the way, didn't even know I was carrying it. And then starting to do the work I started to realize that, oh my goodness, what if I only wanted to carry the things that were light? And not meaning that I wasn't going to feel things that are hard and dark, but just meaning that the things that I wanted to carry were the things that were me, all of me. The hard stuff, the shameful stuff, the broken stuff, all of it. And knowing when I named it and tamed it, it became light and easier to carry because it no longer felt heavy anymore. It just felt like my path, the things that I've learned, the things that I'm working on healing, but most importantly, the things that I love about my life today. Having seen it, having been through it, having continually to work through it, is life. It's a spiritual life, not for the faint of heart, but always for anyone and everyone who has the willingness, have a courageous heart. Name it to tame it, bring light to it, and release the heaviness from it. The beautiful work of the spiritual path, more and more I'm finding to be exhilarating, to be humbling, to be at times just, oh my goodness, take my breath away in the most beautiful way, and get back to work on it again each and every day with zeal, with gratitude, and with as much grace as I can. So if you feel like I do every now and then, heavy with shame, give yourself the opportunity to name it, to tame it, and together you and I can bring it out in the light and have it be more light. Much love, every blessing. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.